All right, what's up, SEO pros? Welcome back. Today we're going to be covering the 3 different phases of the certification. And the reason why we're doing this is because when we were doing the certification, a lot of the videos kind of went pretty slow. There's I think it's almost like 20 hours of video. And so this is just going to be like a quick hour-long overview of the different phases for the people who are wanting to get certified, but also the people who just want to get caught up a little bit faster. So if you're just starting out the certification watching this. Oh.
Okay, so everyone's good?
Hey,
Everyone,
Fabiola.
business.facebook.com. Let me know if you're all set. If you have not.
Okay, I'm gonna mute her, by the way. Fabiola, if you hear this, there's just a little bit of feedback. We're trying to do the introduction. But anyways, so yeah, the reason why we're doing this is because oh yeah, wait, sorry, I already said that. For the people who are just starting out the certification, you just want the quick overview instead of going through all of the phases like with the slower aspect of it. This is a great way to just kind of get acquainted with what's going to be going on. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to get started right now, and let me just pull up phase 1. And by the way, as usual, guys, if you have any questions or anything, just feel free to interrupt me in the middle of what I'm saying and just ask. I'm going to try to go as quickly as possible. So if I cover something and it's not really in full detail, like you guys want me to, just let me know and I'll try to talk about it a little bit more. So let me just go to my other screen.
You want to do a screen share or?
Yeah, so actually, sorry about that. I just realized I have to do a screen share. So let me give you guys a call. I'll call Jonas. And I don't understand why there isn't a screen share option. I don't understand why there isn't a screen share option for the servers, but they really should have that. Just go right there. Make sure they get in here. Cool. All right. All right, so let me go into the, let me share it with you guys first. Make sure you guys can see this. Let me know when you can see it.
Yep, working good.
You got it? Okay, cool. So yeah, we're gonna go in the audit template first. Obviously, if you don't have the template, super easy to get. Just go on the site. Whoops, chasefinder.com. Resources, SEO audit template. Actually, products SEO audit template. And then template, download. Or if you're in the certification, you're on Teachable and you have the full audit template, you should know where that is. Boom. Okay, download. So once you have it, you're just going to go over to Google Sheets. File upload, or sorry, yeah, file upload, find the thing you just got, which mine should be somewhere around here. And for some reason, I have way too much stuff in my drive, so I'm gonna have to do it from here. Okay, open it up. Sorry for the delay on that one. All right. So let's just run through the roadmap really quick. Most of you guys already know how to do this. for the people who are watching this after you've already watched different phases, but I'll just run through this as quick as I can. Generally, I can get these audits done for clients within usually, like, I would say under an hour. Sometimes it's even less. So what you're gonna do is just gonna take the roadmap, and this is also, by the way, for those of you guys who are trying to get clients, this is where you would start. You want to offer your clients generally a free audit, or your potential clients a free audit, and then you do all the, you fill all this stuff out for them, and then you hand it to them, and then usually offer them a whatever the price is going to be. We could talk about that after, but here we go. So SEO roadmap for name of business. This would just be like, let's just say it's our own website, chasefinder.com. Industry is going to be whatever industry we're in, which is SEO. Business type is going to be national. That's the targeting we have. Audience targeting, we're going to say 25 to 45 other SEOs. That's who I target, other SEOs, not like clients usually. Audience conversion value, I could say, is on average like $500 a conversion. Date of roadmap would be the date. So, you know, freaking, I don't know, whatever the date is, blah, blah, blah. Time of roadmap, whatever the time is. So extra notes, this is where you're going to have all of your extra notes, obviously. Let me just do this so you guys can see a little bit better. So, yeah. Either way, you're not going to have to worry too much about the extra notes until, you know, later on in the audit if there's anything else you find that's not in here. Now, what we're going to do before we get started is we're going to take our website and we're going to plug it into Screaming Frog. And Screaming Frog is a free software that you can use to get a lot of stuff done up to phase 1. But if you're at phase 2, you're not going to be able to do a lot of the stuff we're going to want to do without the pro version, which is about, I think it's $180 a year or something for the pro version of Screaming Frog. So yeah, you're going to definitely want to get that at some point if you can, but if you only have the free version for now, that's fine. If you do get the paid version, you'll have access to API access, but if you don't, you won't have access to this, so ignore this part if you only have the free version. So if you have the paid version, which I recommend you get if you're going to be doing phase 2 and phase 3 stuff for the clients, or what you can do is you can wait till you get your first sales on your phase 1 without buying the pro version, and once you get your first sale, then you can buy Screaming Frog with your first sale. So here we go. You're going to go to Google Analytics under API access, find the property that you're going to be auditing. I'm going to audit my own website, which is chasefinder.com, and I'm going to go to date range and make sure that my date is back to a year before worth of data, because I don't want to just only audit a month's worth of data if it's a first audit. If you're going to be doing future audits, you probably want to do less data, like maybe just a month over month, because then you're going to be able to see more recent data. But you want to make sure you're looking at everything over the last month, or the last year if you can, if it's a first audit. You're going to press OK, then you're going to go back to configuration, go to Google Search Console, click into the account you want to audit again, and I'm going to find my website, which is on a different account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into that under here. And again, feel free to interrupt me at any point in time. So it says resend verification code, so we're good. And should be able to find it now. There it is. Okay, so under the date range, same thing. I'm going to go back to 2018, so I get a year's worth of data. Press OK. And then I'm just going to put my website. The way we grab the website, just grab it off the actual website itself, because you want to grab the preferred URL instead of grabbing maybe an HTTP version of the website, or just typing in the HTTP and then it crawling the wrong one. So there we go. We press start. Boom. It's going to go. API is going to go up to 100%, meaning it's good. And then while that's going, we can start filling out our audit template. Wherever the audit template went. Where did you go, audit template? So there it is. Okay, so set redirects to preferred version. All you have to do here is just go to the website. If the URL goes like if you take out the HTTPS and it goes back to the preferred version here, or if you take out the HTTP and it goes to the preferred version, or you put the www and it goes to the preferred version, like it redirects right there, then you know it's good. If you do that, and if you start putting W's in here, or if you take out the S, that kind of thing, and it doesn't redirect you to the other version, then it's not redirecting the preferred version. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to have two versions of your website indexed, which is bad because that basically means there's going to be duplicate content on the internet with two different versions of your website. Google's not going to know which one to choose. So you don't want two different versions of your website competing against each other on Google. Ours is good, so we're going to put a little X, but yeah, you don't want that to happen. And if you did, you'd put a Z if it wasn't correct. Favicon. So the favicon is this little thing up here. It's actually starting to show in search results on Google, which is kind of cool. So they do matter apparently now more so than ever. SEO techniques. Let's see if we show up for, there it is. And I guess it's only on mobile for now, but maybe it's going to be showing up on desktop in the future as well. But we're good with the favicon. Also, the way you fix the Site Redirect's preferred version and the favicon is Site Redirect's preferred version is in hosting. You just go into your hosting and you can contact them. They'll help you set your site to their preferred version. It's pretty easy if you don't know how to do it. And then the favicon, you're going to just go into your website and change the favicon within whatever theme template you have. Should be pretty self-explanatory as well. Robots.txt, so that's going to be what Google reads when it crawls your website to see if there's anything it should or shouldn't crawl, anything that should be blocked, anything, it's the spider on the Google Spider should be not crawling based on what the robots.txt is saying. And so here we go. The way we go do it is just HTTPS, your website name, and then robots.txt. You want to put a sitemap in there if you can. The way you add that in there is in Yoast. And the other things in here are just things that you want to disallow if you don't want Google to crawl these pages. Some of these ended up getting crawled, like these weird plugins and stuff, so I had to actually put this in here. But for the most part, if you're just disallowing WP admin and then WP content star, that kind of thing, you're going to be good. These little stars basically just mean that it's going to disallow anything after the end of a after the end of this URL path. So yeah, you don't need a whole lot in your robots.txt unless you're going to be doing like a Shopify website, which a lot of this stuff ends up getting updated when you install like WooCommerce and stuff like that. So ours is good. Sitemap included robots.txt. Boom, there it is. HTML or sitemap.xml. That just is asking if we have a sitemap or not. So all sites should really have a sitemap on the site. And here it is. You want to also make sure you submit that to Search Console. I use the Yoast sitemap, so it just comes with it when I install Yoast. If you're not on a content management system like WordPress, then obviously you're not going to be using Yoast. You're going to be probably generating your own sitemap, which you can just do online. HTML sitemap and footer, that's just making sure we have the HTML version of the sitemap in the footer. And the reason why we want to have that is because we want to be able to have users be able to look through the HTML version of the site and see all the different pages on the site. About page, contact page, that just makes sure that we have about page and contact pages. That just adds trust on for Google and for users just to know that, you know, there's a about and a contact page to kind of see what the site's about and that they're real people that you can contact. So pretty much any site should have an about page, contact page, terms of service, and a privacy policy page. Terms of service, privacy policy pages are usually in the footer, and you can generate these online just by going to Google and typing in terms of service or privacy policy generator. Free lead magnets being utilized in blog posts, so that's pretty easy to do. You just want to make sure that in your blog post that you're getting traffic to, that you have some sort of call to action in here showing people where to go once they hit your site, because not everybody's going to convert into a customer or even come back to your website after they visit it the first time. So one of the best ways to keep them around is to, you know, have some sort of download free PDF or you know, go join our free Facebook group, that kind of thing. So you can siphon the traffic to remarket to the people later, and then also build some sort of customer database or email list, not database, customer database, some sort of email list, or you get the point. Controllable asset that you can control the traffic to. So we got free lead magnets in most of our blog posts. Some of the newer ones we actually need, so maybe we'll just say in here, some of the newer posts need free lead magnets. Unsecured content, that's really just going to be if the content on your website doesn't have HTTPS on it. The way we can check that is go to our Screaming Frog. Let's go export this really quick. So we'll go make sure we filter from all to HTML, press export, press yes. And gotta go find this file really quick. Wherever it just went, there it is. We're gonna go back over to here, file, open. Drag it in. Okay, sorry, I guess you can't drag it in. I thought you could. Open. Upload. Now it's letting me drag it in. I don't know what happened. I must have missed it. Okay, there it is. We're going to grab all this. Just do a Control A on the file or hit this top left column. Plug it all in. Control V. Should line all up with the conditional formatting that we have in the template. So really what the conditional formatting is just to show us if it's above or below certain averages, like all these different metrics. So you're going to delete the top column. I usually freeze this top row, view, freeze, because we're going to want to do this later for phase 2. And then I'll also generally go all the way over here and then filter the clicks from highest to lowest, just so we can see the top traffic pages on the website first. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and make sure that these are all HTTPS pages, and they are. There's no non-HTTP pages. So all of them are secure, so we're good. So that's the first section of the on-page basics. Pretty straightforward. We're going to try to blow through these as fast as possible so we can go get phase 2 and phase 3. Are we all on the same page so far, guys? Do you have any questions?
No questions.
Nobody else?
No questions.
Okay. All right, guys, so let's keep going. All right, so site architecture. So this starts to get a little bit more complicated, but we can make it easy. Categorize URL structure. Really, all we're looking for here is to make sure that the URLs are properly sorted. You can see here this blog is chaserunner.com/blog/ the category that the post is in, and then the post, which is best SEO training courses. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it like this. You could literally just do blog/ and then SEO training courses. It only gets really bad when your categorization is like chaserunner.com and then everything's just like one post level down, like best SEO training courses. Because then we don't know if it's really a blog or a service or a product, that kind of thing. So, you know, you want to categorize them a little bit, but if you start working with sites that have a ton of traffic to them, let's say we were to go into here like this, and none of these were categorized, but they had thousands of clicks, like you can see over here, then you want to make sure that you're not just going and changing all the URL paths just because you think it would look better categorized. The only time you really want to do it is if the site's not receiving a ton of traffic already, or if it's just so bad that customer or clients or potential clients really just can't navigate through the site because the URLs are so jacked up, which for the most part, that's not going to happen. But if you can categorize the stuff early on, that's a better idea. And in terms of having like the best categorized URL structure possible, there's no really such thing. Just make it look nice, you know, make it look something that people would actually want to read. Like for instance, you know, if they're going to be reading a blog post, it doesn't always have to be categorized by like 500 things. Just at least make it under your blog, and then, you know, make it a post, right? So like chaserunner.com/blog/post name. In terms of the URLs, you want to make sure that they're not super long. Like, you know, each URL path down should only be like 3 to 5 words each. So like it could be a maximum of like chaserunner.com/blog for dummies, for SEO, /SEO for, you know, the point is that you don't want it to be so far gone that it ends up being a URL where it's like 500 characters long. You only want 3 to 5 words per URL path. And if you start seeing like, on some of the websites, they're just like super long, you don't always have to change them. But again, if they are receiving a bunch of traffic to them, maybe don't change them. But if they aren't, you might consider wanting to shorten them a little bit. But for the most part, just moving forward when you're working with clients, try to make sure that they are using that as a best practice to not make the URLs too long. Because apparently Google only uses like the first 3 to 5 words per file path. So categorized URL structure, we're doing that for the most part. Uncategorized pages or posts, the only thing we're really doing there is just looking through and seeing if anything says uncategorized in the URL path. And it doesn't because we categorize everything. 404 pages that get traffic, we're going to want to 301 those because, so there's 2 different options. So if a page is 404ing, you can either 301 it to another page. Like for instance, this page right here, SEO courses. If this page has links coming to it and it has authority, like we go to Ahrefs and we look, let's go see. So 18 UR, 89 backlinks, right? If that's the case, then we'd probably want to 301 it to another page that is going to be whatever is applicable for this. Like it has rankings, or if it has traffic, or it has links, that kind of thing, then you'd want to take this 404 and redirect it, 301 redirect it to the next applicable page that would be better suited, like maybe another SEO course or something like that. If there's no use for this page, doesn't have any authority, there's no point in it being there, then what you would do is you would just go and set it to a 410, meaning you want to permanently delete it, and then Google would just stop recrawling it. Because a 404 is just a temporary not found, but a 410 is permanently deleted. So yeah, that's what you would do. And that's sort of the 2 different options here. 404 pages that get traffic. So we have some right here that have traffic or links, and so we'd want to do that. And then 404 pages that have no traffic, we would see, let's say this one, or no links. But for the most part, I think I'd want to redirect all of these, so I would just put a X on that one. So it's just the 301s I'm going to want to do. 302s would be temporary redirects if we have any of those in here, meaning like we're just temporarily redirecting a page to another page. But we're not doing that there, so we're all good. In terms of what you would want to do if there was a temporary redirect, you would just, probably set it to a permanent redirect or to a 410, because you don't want to have things that are like temporary on your site. You want to figure out what you're going to do with them. Are the correct redirect thank you pages in place? That's really just like if you go to a website and you go to the contact form, or if somebody's signing up on a blog resource, you want to make sure that it's redirecting the person to the right place, like a thank you page, because you want to track these conversions. And the way you track the conversions really is pretty simple with these redirects. You just go into your analytics. Go into your main account, that's whatever is connected to your website. You're going to go to admin, goals. You're going to press add goal. Mine's already set up. So, I already have too many set up, so I can't make any more. So I can't press add goal. So I'll just edit one of these. I'm going to use contact us, template, contact us, continue, goal description. That's the name of the goal, contact us. You're going to set it as a destination. And then the goal details is just going to be, whatever thank you page you set up. And so this is mine right here. Pretty easy to look at. So you just put this here, and then you're going to put a conversion value if it's worth anything to you. The way you've set this up is just if like 1 in 5 people end up turning into a customer usually, and your average customer is worth like, $800, then you would set this as, 800 divided by 5, and that's the value. I don't know if that's what that is, but that's what, that's the point. So that's pretty much it. To test to see if it works or not, all you have to do is just go and fill out your contact form, go to your real-time conversions, and if somebody does a contact submit here, you can see their conversion fired, and that means it's working. So it worked. You can see also my email opt-ins are working as well. I got 2 email opt-ins in the last 30 minutes, so I know that those are working too. And the reason why they're working is because there's a thank you redirect when people sign up for the email list. The reason why you want to track these things is because you want to make sure that the pages that you're working with are bringing in conversions, and that if you want to optimize those pages to bring in more conversions, you would just see what their current conversion rates are, and then you would try to improve those based on the current data you have. But if you don't have conversion rates being tracked, then you never really know if those pages are really doing anything for the site. And therefore, you can't really show your clients either if you're improving their website, because you can't show them any sort of value. So like, for instance, I can show you all of my top pages that are bringing in all of the most amount of emails. So like my homepage in the last 7 days brought in 29 emails. This SEO checklist page brought in 19 emails. And if I want to compare that month over month like this, and I want to show a difference to my clients, the way I would do that really is by showing them, hey guys, look, after we did this and this and this, these conversions went up or went down. The reason why these have gone down so much is because a lot of these are social referrals. I'm sure if I probably filtered by Google organic visits, maybe it would look a little bit better. Maybe not so much, but either way, let's go back to the template. So yeah, the correct redirect thank you pages are in place, and also the conversions being tracked. All footers and header links work. I already tested these, but you just go through and make sure these all work. You can also use this link checker plugin. I think it's just called Check My Links. It's a Chrome extension, and it'll tell you if there's any broken links on your page. It's the quicker way to do it. Okay, so that's the site architecture section. Any questions so far, guys?
Nope.
No questions. Any comments? Any reassuring thoughts? No? All right. Well, don't everybody jump at it at once. It's cool. Cool. So, indexation. So, the biggest thing we want to do here is we want to make sure that we don't have a bunch of pages on our website that are being indexed that don't need to be indexed. And by index, I mean showing up on Google. So, it's really important that we don't just, index like, tons of pages that are like, for instance, images showing up that are just single images, pages showing up, maybe thank you pages showing up on Google, PDFs, and unless you want PDFs to show up, dates, unless you're like a news site and you do news-based articles, different author pages showing up unless you want your authors to be shown. But for the most part, a lot of these things you don't want to show unless you are like a very specific type of site, like like a news site or something. So first of all, thank you pages. The way we find all these things is really pretty simple. All you have to do is just go to your website, like so, type in site : at the start of it, and then you're just going to type in like thank you. If you see a thank you page show up, then you want to make sure index it. And the way index pages is really just within Yoast. It's pretty simple. If you guys don't know how to do it, all you do is just once you have Yoast installed, go to your website, log in, and once you're logged in, you're going to go into the page itself. At the bottom on Yoast, there's going to be an option to ask you if you want to add a no index tag to the page. So I'll just show you really quick. Edit page. Here it is. You're going to press the little cog wheel where Yoast is at. And you're just going to say, allow search engines to show this page with search results, no. And then should search engines follow the links on this page? No. Because you don't want to no index and follow. You just want to no index, no follow. There's really no reason to no index and follow. Because following is just going to follow the links on the page, but the page isn't going to matter anyways because it's not indexed, so it doesn't technically do anything. So yeah, that's how you would no index the pages. We don't have any thank you pages, so we're good. PDFs, we're going to go check and see if we have any of those. And again, for me, like I get traffic to some of these PDFs, so I leave them indexed. But if you don't want to index them, you would just set this all up in Yoast. I'll show you really quickly how to set up all this in Yoast. Welcome to whoever just joined. I think it was Dova or something. Oh, it's Zeth. What's up, dude? So yeah, we're gonna go to Yoast. This is a really quick way to optimize Yoast. You're gonna go to General. Sorry, you're gonna go to Search Appearance, and you're gonna go to Content Types. I keep posts indexed, pages indexed. I no index all this other junk like ClickFunnels, projects, whatever else comes with your theme, events posts, video posts. Media, you're going to keep media and attachment URLs set to yes. We want to redirect those URLs to the attachment themselves. For the taxonomies, unless you're going to be really adding a bunch of categories to your website, I usually no index these. And by adding a bunch of categories, I mean, unless you're going to be spending a lot of time setting up your categories to succeed well, like, you're going to be adding a bunch of different posts that are unique to the category. You're going to spend a lot of time, promoting these categories and internally linking to them because they're really important. People search by category on your subject. Unless that's happening on your site, I usually just no index them. Or if they already have traffic. Tags, I no index. Formats, post categories, everything else. But I keep the category URLs in the file path. Archives, I disable authors unless it's a news site, and I disable dates unless it's a news site. Breadcrumbs, I keep enabled. That's pretty much it. So that's pretty much everything that you need to know for this section on the indexation. That covers PDFs, covers dates, covers authors, covers post tags, product tags. I keep product tags usually indexed for because people usually use those on product sites or like Shopify, WooCommerce type sites. WP directories, that's just to make sure that you're not indexing WP directories. And a lot of that stuff really is just going to be you just going and typing in site : name of website, and then whatever this thing is and seeing if they show up. So we already did all this stuff, so we're good. Thin content or no value pages, that's really just going to be if you have a bunch of pages that are like, 0 word count or, they just don't really matter. The way you can see the word count on pages is within Screaming Frog. If you just do Control F word count in Screaming Frog, it'll show you the word count of all the pages. And if we just go filter from Z to A, we can see that, there are a few pages here that have under like 55 words, and here they are. So yeah, we'd probably want to try to make sure that these are either, no indexed, or you can see here that a lot of these are 301 or 404, so obviously they're not going to have any content. So yeah, there's not a lot of low value pages on the website, or low value in terms of word count, but there might be some in terms of clicks. So if we go here and we see that there's a bunch of pages, with like only 5 clicks on them, we scroll over. Let me go like this down here. Whoops, didn't grab it. Let me just go like that. Oh, I was holding Control instead of Shift. That's why. There we go. So all of these have like under 7 clicks, and you can see that's probably a good thing because they're just like thank you pages, and maybe this one blog, maybe we want to get rid of that. But yeah, a lot of the pages on the website have above maybe 100 clicks, so they're not too bad off. And yeah, you don't want to have a bunch of pages on your website that have like 0 clicks on them off Google. Kind of looks bad, so we usually try to get rid of those as well. All right, so no meta keywords. Really, we're just going to go see if meta keywords are on the website because those are deprecated. It's something that Google used to use a long time ago. They don't use it anymore, so here they are. Meta keywords, we don't have them on the website. Actually, ClickFunnels, the ClickFunnels page does, but that's not even indexed, so it's fine. All right, Google Search Console. So we want to make sure the correct URL of our website is submitted to Search Console. Some people think that you need to have multiple versions of your URL submitted on Search Console. You don't need to do that anymore. You just need to submit the primary version to Search Console, and then you would just submit this here when you set up your website. I think the right version should be. Go over here, go over here, go over here. And here we go, chaserunner.com, HTTPS, let's go check out the website. And that's the same version, so we're good to go. Sitemap submitted, we want to make sure the sitemap's submitted and there's no errors, so we'll go into sitemaps. Here it is, there's the correct version. It's submitted, looks like there's no errors, so we're good. Sitemap errors, nope. Any manual penalties? This would just be if any messages Google sent us saying, hey, look, you're really messing up, so we're giving you a manual penalty. So we go to security manual actions, and we got none, so we're good. correct URL, goal setup, same thing in Google Analytics. I'm not going to go over that because we already just did that in Search Console. So you can pretty much imagine how it's going to be. It's going to be the same thing. Goal setup, you know, that's what we were talking about before, the conversions. Okay, Skew Markup. So this part is a little bit more tricky, but it's pretty self-explanatory. The best way to really do this, the fastest way to do this, is to just download this plugin called Schema JSON LD, I believe it is, and the name of it is right here in the checklist. So if we just go grab that, paste it into Google, here it is, download it, put it on our website, and I'll show you guys how to set it up. Okay, so here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the plugin once it's downloaded and put on there. It's called Schema.org Settings. And you're just going to set up the different parts that are applicable to your website. So organization would be on your home page. Let me just explain to you what these different things are. Let me put this part at the bottom because we'll talk about that last. Okay, organization markup. This is for national sites. That's why we said that here. Really, it's just going to be if you don't have a local business, you're just going to put this on whatever your homepage is. You don't want to have multiple organization markups because that's not going to make sense. You either have an organization that contains local businesses, or you just have an organization, or you have just a local business. So the organization markup's usually going to be on the homepage. It's not going to be on a subpage. It's not going to be on multiple pages. You're not going to have an organization markup on every single page. If you do, then you need to make sure that you make a note. Say we have organization markup on every page. We need to only have it on the home page. Local business markup. This is either going to be on the home page if it's a local business, if your home page is representing a local business, or it's going to be on a subpage if your subpage is representing a local business. The way you'll know is really just wherever your Google My Business is pointing. So if your Google My Business is pointing to a subpage, then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that the local business markup is matching whatever that subpage is trying to represent, if that makes sense. The about markup is going to go on your about page. The contact markup is going to go on your contact page. These two, what you're going to do for these is you're just going to copy the contact and the about markup off of my website, chasegarner.com/about, chasegarner.com/contact, and then you're just going to take them and you're going to change your info to them and then put them into your header of your website using something called the SOGO Open Scripts, which is also in here. The way you do that is you literally just copy and paste the code into a section on your website. At the bottom, once you install the plugin, which is called SOGO. You scroll down to the bottom. Sorry, my computer's freezing for a second. There it is, and then you would just copy and paste it into the page. This would be where the schema markup would go. And if you don't know how to get the schema markup from a page like the about or contact page, you just look up the structured data testing tool, like so. Plug in the URL you want to go for. So we'd go for like the contact page. Somebody can ask. Yes.
Yeah. I'm showing local and organizational markup on the homepage on this page right here, structured data testing tool. How do I go remove it? Where's the master?
Can you show me can you tell me the website URL?
Cuts and bruises barbershop.us.
Okay, yeah. So you have organization and local business. Is it a WordPress? Yeah, it's WordPress. So yeah. Obviously, you just want to have the local business, and if you can actually, I think you can specify that this is a barbershop in the specific business type. I think if we go to the plugin, it will. Let me go back. Local business. Here it is. Edit, and then
Only one of those on that thing is checked. So, like, just the local business portion is checked, and
I'm trying to see if there's a barbershop one. I think you can do like beauty or something instead. So you can be more specific with it. You got to look through it. But yeah, so the way you would see if you only have this one checked right in here, it's just the local business, but the organization isn't, and it's getting pulled from somewhere else. One of the ways to do it is just to click on it. It'll show you where it is in the website. So you can see here, it says, it's right here. So,
So it's so blurry right now. It looks choppy.
maybe double click it or something. But yeah, it looks like it's just getting pulled within your header somewhere. So it might just be coming from your theme. Or it also, one thing that you guys need to note is that Yoast automatically pulls organization data if you have that set up. So if you go to SEO, the Yoast plugin, and then you go to, I think it's general. Let me check. Because a lot of people fill this out, but they don't know that it kind of messes them up. Features. I think if you go, I'm trying to figure out where they put it. Might be social. Yeah, somewhere in here, they ask you to fill out your business data. And when they do, I think it pulls the, yeah, here it is, company or person. So if you put this right here, it'll pull the organization markup into the website. So you might want to disable that. If it's not in there, then maybe it's somewhere else. If you want, I can take a look after we're done with this, but I'm sure it's getting pulled from like the theme or some sort of tool or something that you can probably just disable. The problem is with other content management systems like Squarespace or like Wix, that kind of thing, it's harder to set up this stuff because it gets pulled automatically into all the pages incorrectly. So yeah, it can get kind of frustrating if you're using other content management systems. But Schema is not supposed to be a huge difference like maker in the website unless you're doing like product review markup where you get higher click-through rates because of that stuff. So yeah, for the moment, I think you know, if you can just set up this main stuff, you'd probably be fine. And the best way to do it is just through that plugin that I was showing you guys. As far as OG data goes, what that is it's basically something called Open Graph data, which is for social sharing, and you can set up set up the way this is displayed on social media. So it's really important that if these people are going to be sharing on social media, or if people are going to be sharing their website on social media, that they're not just sharing random stuff on Facebook in terms of what's getting pulled. So if I go to Facebook.debugger right now, I can see what's going to be getting pulled on my website. I'll just plug it in here. Scrape again. So you can see I set up an image, like a traffic going up, SEO training by Chase Reiner, so on and so on. So it's all specified, looks pretty good. Now, if you go in here and it says that the Facebook image ID or any of that stuff can't be found, or there's nothing specified, then that's a problem and you want to set that up. Now, the way I do it, there's two different ways. You can use Yoast, the premium plugin where they'll pull the OG data for you, or you can use the plugin I use, which is like $60. I think it's worth it. It's called WPSSO. I actually have the free version right now, and I need to change that. But once you have the paid version, you can, similar to how you go and optimize your pages with Yoast on the single page layout level, you can go into the pages and optimize the way they show up on social media with a similar box. So here it is. It's called SSO. Once it's set up, got a little lag again. SSO. Here it is. And so here you can see I can change the default title of the page. I can change the description, how it shows up in Twitter, how it shows up on Facebook. I can change whether it shares a video or an audio file. I can share what kind of image I can change what kind of image it shares. I can change the ratios of the image. I can share multiple images at once from a single URL. So there's a ton of different things you can do with the OG data, but most people don't even have OG data set up in the first place. So being able to manipulate that stuff and share it on social in different ways is really kind of gives you a cool edge. And if they don't have this stuff set up, the way to test it is really just to go and see, scrape some URLs on Facebook Debugger off their website and see if anything gets pulled. Usually people don't have OG data set up. I also forgot to explain what these other ones were. So blog markup, this is really just for your blog to tell Google that it's a blog. Breadcrumbs, this is for those little arrows in the search results. So sometimes you'll see like SEO checklist. Sometimes you'll see like these little arrows, like that little arrow right here. That's just a breadcrumb, which is different than this URL path because it just shows people where they're at on the website. So if you mark up your pages, generally you can get these little arrows showing up, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that's the one thing that you need to know about from the breadcrumbs. News article markup, this just has to do if you have news articles. Event markup, this has to do if you have events. It's kind of obvious, right? Schema errors, this just has to do if you go into the structured data and there's any error, there's like errors getting pulled into the markup. There's like little red boxes saying that it isn't getting pulled correctly. But yeah, pretty much all the stuff that you need to set up is within this template or within here. Anything beyond that, just leave a comment or something or send me a message. Let me know if you can't find anything else around schema because a lot of this stuff is pretty easy. The only thing you have to do on your own really is like the contact and about markup, which is hopefully they're going to add that to this tool at some point. I know some people use different tools here instead of this one, but you know, I think this one's fine. I think the other ones are paid or something. I don't really care. Schema markup shouldn't be too insanely difficult. Plugins, these are all the plugins we use. You can just Google them and download them. Yoast is for SEO, WPSSO is for OG data, Smusher is for image compression, Pagespeed Optimization, Broken Link Checkers for checking broken links. Sogo is for adding header or code into your headers like schema markup or whatever else you need to put in there. 410 for WordPress is for adding the 410 codes to your pages if you want to permanently delete them. Updraft is for if you want to back up your site and your hosting doesn't do that. Redirection is for redirecting your different pages if you don't have Yoast Pro. Simple Site, which by the way, you don't need Yoast Pro, for those of you who are asking. Simple Sitemap is for your HTML site version of your sitemap. WP Fast as Cache is for your PageSpeed optimization, and then markup, JSON LD is for the schema markup we just showed you. All right, so we're almost done with phase one. Do we have any questions so far? Besides
I think we're square, man.
Okay. And again, all of this stuff is just an insanely fast run through of the entire certification. So if you guys haven't watched all the videos in the certification and you don't know why this doesn't make sense, or it seems like I'm going extremely fast, that's because I am going really fast and because this is something that we've been covering over like a 20-hour period. So yeah.
Actually, I have a question for you if you can back up a second.
Sure.
It's a stupid, simple question. Meta keywords, I know that they're not relevant, they're not a factor anymore. Does it hurt anything being there, though?
It doesn't really hurt anything, and there's actually people who say to keep them in there because like certain search engines like DuckDuckGo or something apparently still uses them. I don't think it'll hurt you by any means, but this fact that they are not really, you know, being used anymore and there's no point in using them based on what Google's saying kind of makes me feel like they shouldn't really be there for the most part. But I don't think they're gonna like, you know, Google's gonna look at it and be like, oh well, we can't rank them now.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That was my big thing. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't actively being, you know, penalized for it in some way, other than it's just unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I think they would say something. They'd be like, guys, definitely don't use these anymore. Like for instance, SSL. They're like, you know, or mobile sites, you know, or non-mobile sites. They're like, guys, if you don't have a mobile site, like you're gonna be in, you know, bad water. So anyways, so yeah, Google My Business. This is for local businesses only, unless the national business has a local Google My Business, which some do, but it doesn't really matter because they're going for national keywords. But if you are going for local keywords, it's going to be better if you have a physical address than a service location. However, I've been able to rank multiple service locations pretty easily. If you can, what you can do is you can set up your service location at your home address, and then until you get a physical address, then you can change it over to a physical address. The correct hours, you just want to make sure that these are corresponding with what's going to be on your website and whatever other citations you'll be building. Multiple categories, this make sure if you are utilizing all of the categories and your primary category. The best way to choose a category for your local Google My Business is to just, go to Google, type in, let's say iPhone repair, whatever you're going for, and then see what the other top businesses are ranking with. If they all say electronic repair shop or something like that, then you'd want to make sure that that's your primary category. Unless that's not your primary category, then you wouldn't want to set that, because you don't want to always just do things for the purpose of ranking. Trying to figure out where this just went. There we go. Responding to reviews. So you want to make sure you respond to reviews. Apparently, I've been told in the past that you don't get the true ranking benefit on your Google My Business until you respond to reviews. Keyword stuff, title tags. And by the way you respond to these is pretty simple. You just Google My Business. There's a place in there that lets you respond to them. Something like this, My Business. And then you go to the property. And then there's a little spot where it just says reply. You can just be like, thank you for the kind words. Boom. Okay. Keyword stuff, title tag. So this would just be the Google My Business, like saying a bunch of things about, like let's say you wanted to go for web design in your area, but you wound up making your title like web design in my area, best web designers, lowest prices, that kind of thing. You don't want to do that. You just want to make it the business name. So that's why sometimes it's better to do exact match on your Google My Business with your business name. Like for instance, making sure your business name is what you want to name your make better by having the keywords in your title, if that makes sense. But yeah, so you want to make sure that it's not super keyword stuff, because you can get in trouble for that. You can get your Google My Business removed. Using post capability. So this is just going into your Google My Business and using the new post capability. I believe that there's actually services you can use now. I'm trying to find a good one that will let you queue up your posts, because apparently you do get a ranking benefit from posting frequently on your Google My Business. And the way you do that is you go into your Google My Business somewhere over around, I don't know how I just lost it, but apparently I did. Go back over here. And there should be a place to post your things. Create post. There it is. In terms of the best way to post this stuff, I don't really know. I don't know. I would experiment with it. But apparently posting frequently, updates, products, offers, that kind of thing is supposed to help. Answering questions. So if somebody leaves a question on your Google My Business, you want to make sure to answer it. Similar to how they leave your review, same thing. Using promotions, the same thing as the posting capability. Continually posting content, same thing as the posting capability. And then the images, it says 3x, service photos, inside location, outside location, team photos. Really, you want to have more than that if you can, but you want to make sure you're filling out the Google My Business with pictures of you and the business location, all that stuff is supposed to help you rank better. And you also want to make sure that you're naming the file URLs of what the images are actually of. If you don't know how to do this, make sure, and you are in the certification, make sure to go to the local SEO course that I made, or the local SEO section I made, and look at the part where I'm doing the Google My Business optimization, because I cover how to do all of the URL optimizations and how to take the photos and that kind of stuff. How many of you guys have watched the local SEO part of the certification, like the extra course I put in there? Any of you? I know some of you have. I just don't know if anybody in this current chat has. Oh, it looks like people are typing. It looks like Fabiola has. Cool. All right, so citations. This is really just to see how many other businesses or websites are mentioning your name, address, or phone number, or your website. Oh, looks like Mario has. Cool. And so the cool thing about this is you can actually see with something called Whitespark what your competition's citations look like and what yours look like. So if we wanted to go to whitespark.ca and go look at the current citations we have, we could go to the local Citation Finder here. Try it for free. and we would just enter our location. So I'd be like Santa Barbara, California. Our key phrase we could just say is like SEO. Press search, and then what it'll do is it'll show us all the citations that people have for this stuff. Now, what I like to do is if I only have like 30 citations or something on here, or I'm transferring addresses and all the current citations I have are like on an old address, I'll go to Citation Builder Pro. And if you type in Citation Builder Pro Chase Reiner, they actually have a discount here that you can use because for whatever reason they like partnering with me, probably because I send them so much friggin' traffic. But I usually order about 100 citations, and then sometimes I'll get the citation cleanup as well. If you want to get the citation cleanup, meaning you want to get the old citations removed and then redirected to the new address, you would just buy these and then send them a message and tell them to change them over. I used to use people on Fiverr in the past too. You just want to make sure that they're not building actual links to your website. These are all actually like actual like business listings, which is a lot different than like buying links online. So don't go out and buy links just because I said go get citations. It's a little bit different. So page speed optimization. This is something that I need you guys to sort of figure out on your own in a sense, because I don't know page speed optimization by any means. I have somebody do that for me. And by figure it out on your own, what I mean is that go to my tutorial I had done by one of my guys who does page speed optimization and watch that. So you type in Chase Reiner SEO page speed optimization. It's about an hour-long tutorial going through how to do page speed optimization. If you don't want to do page speed optimization and you're like me and you don't want to watch this hour-long video, I would just find one of the millions of people online who do page speed optimization and ask them to do that for you. You could easily make a post in the White Hat SEO Network and say, hey guys, I need somebody to do page speed optimization. I have $200. There would be plenty of people who would do that. And at some point, I'm probably going to offer a service as well on my own website where I have other people that I hire do this for people. So just make sure to stay tuned for that. And we actually did have somebody go through some of this stuff. I think Ryan and I went through this together on one of the videos in the certification as well. So if you want to go over and learn this stuff, you can. But we're just going to skip this because it's a little bit more web designy, less SEO-y. And then the web design, you just want to make sure the site's mobile friendly. So there's site search set up, meaning there's a little search bar on the site if it's applicable. Breadcrumbs, social media on site, CTA above the fold for highest traffic pages, meaning there's a call to action, a little button above the fold for people who visit the pages. Proper navigation, and then accelerated mobile pages if you're on a news site. So boom, that is phase one. Who's ready for phase two?
I'm ready for phase two. I'm excited.
That's what I like to hear. Who else is feeling it right now? I want to hear like I want to feel like I'm in a stadium. There's like a bunch of people cheering. Nobody. I just get a little dancing emoji from Fabiola in chat. Okay, I guess that works. That's fine. All right. So that's phase one in a nutshell in about an hour. Again, if you didn't get a lot of that, the 15 hours or 20 hours of us going over this with Evo, the 15-year-old kid teaching him step by step, like, okay, do you understand what this means? That's all in the certification in every single, 1 through 20 video. So this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to start out with for all of you guys who are new. This is what you're going to start out with where you want to get your first clients. This is how you can easily, once you fill all this stuff out, hand it to a client, do a screen share, sell them the implementations for this, for whatever ticket you want to sell for. I usually, like for instance, depending on how many things are here, depending on how long I think it's going to take. So like for me, if I were to go in through here and I were to filter from Z to A, and I see there's only 2 things wrong, which is I need to do the 301s and put some more free lead magnets in the blog post, I would say, hey, look, I'll do that for $200. If there was obviously all of these were like red and there's like all super messed up, I know it's going to take like 10 hours. I could say, hey, look, I'll do this for $1,500, $2,500, whatever it is. I like to go for a $2,500 retainer for most of the time. For local clients, a little bit harder to do that. Local clients are usually looking for more like a $1,500 retainer. And you're going to say, hey, for the next 3 months, we're going to do phase 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to get you some more traffic after fixing these site-wide issues, and then moving into phase 2, which is the more individual URL issues. And that's what we're going to cover now. So let's go do it. So phase 2, what is phase 2? Does anybody know? What's the difference between phase 1 and phase 2? Anyone?
Phase 1's your foundational fixing. Phase 2 is benchmark.
Yes, but the biggest difference would be that with phase 1, you're fixing only the site-wide issues on the website. So anything that affects the bottom up, like, site speed affecting every single page on the website. The phase 2 is where you're fixing individual URLs. So you're taking an individual URL and you're trying to make it better versus trying to, fix, let's say, page speed and then optimizing the entire website as a whole. So that's why phase 1 is so important to do first, because you want to make sure that you are fixing the things that are affecting the entire website, not going in and optimizing individual URLs if there's 30 other factors affecting those beforehand. Make sense? So that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the website now that we already have it going from our Screaming Frog. And again, the only way you're going to be able to get this phase 2 is by going and getting the premium version of Screaming Frog. So you can get the API access. If you don't have that, that's where you're going to get it. And the way you're going to get that, if you don't have the money yet, is sell a couple of these phase 1 audit implementations after doing a couple free SEO audit giveaways, and you'll be in the door. One other thing before I move forward to phase 2, what I am doing is I am going to be getting you guys your first clients, whoever's interested. I'm really good at creating relationships and giving away these SEO audits to business owners. So if any of you guys in the certification are interested in getting like your first couple clients, obviously I'd probably charge a couple $100 to basically get you guys connected, because I'd have to put some work into doing it. But what I'm going to start doing is getting people who are already interested in getting the audits done for them, and then connecting them with you guys from the SEO certification so you can get your first client. So if you have any more interest in that and you want to talk about that more after, just let me know. Send me a message on Discord or on my email, whatever. So anyways, so phase 2, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the very far side over here, and we're going to sort by clicks. That's going to give us the ability to see what the highest traffic pages are on the website. Now, for most of you guys who don't know, with most websites, 80% of your traffic will come from 20% of your website. So the reason for that is because 20% of your pages are going to be the best pages on your website, and the other 80% are usually just going to be pages that aren't really doing anything for you or not really doing as much. So you can see here again, about the top 20 pages on my website are receiving more than 200 clicks, which is where I'm getting most of my traffic. So what I want to do is I want to spend my time working on those pages first, because I'm going to usually be able to make the biggest change early on, and that's what clients care about, is they want to see that you are able to affect their most important pages early on. And the best way to do that is to be working on where 80% of the traffic is going. Okay, so if we look at the top 20 pages on the website, let's just say that's 80%. I don't know if that's 80. It looks like actually it's about that. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go highlight these really quick so I know where they're at. And I'm going to bring these other ones down because I'm not going to focus on these till probably a little bit later. So let me just put that down here. Cool. So what I like to do, and this isn't an exact science by any means, this is just sort of my system of what I like to do. I like to do something called benchmarking. And by benchmarking is I like to figure out what the most applicable keywords are I want to rank for these pages. The way I do that is I just start creating a couple tabs to the right. Now, if you're in the certification, you should already have the phase 2 template that already has these columns set up. If you got the free audit template off my website, that's just for phase 1. So if you do want to get the other templates and stuff, obviously you're going to want to sign up for the certification. But for the people who are in the certification, let me just go grab the phase 2 template real quick. Let me just go into Basecamp, sign in. Wrong sign in. Hopefully I can do this before 5 because I have to go rock climbing. I have to go rock climbing, but I really like rock climbing. And Oops, one more try. One more try. Okay, maybe 2 more tries. Here we go. Phase 2. Is it just blank? Okay. So this is kind of how I have it set up. Now this might look extremely confusing, and that's because it is. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that confusing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab all of this, bring it over here. Make a new tab. Boom. I think the new phase 2 template, I don't think that's the right one, but I think it looks a little bit different. Profiler score, we don't have this anymore because it was an old thing that we were using. But essentially all you really need, like really, is is the clicks, impressions, click-through rates, average position, difficulty, volume, and then also your Screaming Frog data. And I'll mean by that in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab everything from Screaming Frog right here. We grab these top 20. And we're going to bring them over to here. And we're going to put it where the address is. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the address, move it far to the left. And then we're going to start grabbing the keywords we want to rank for this. So we're going to go grab the query, put it over here. And here we go. We're going to take the URL right here. We're going to go over to our Search Console. And if you don't have Search Console data set up, like if you don't have any Search Console data for the website, or the website doesn't have any existing data, or it doesn't have any even any pages to do phase 2 on, then phase 2 is going to go straight to phase 3, which we'll talk about in a second, which is building out the next pages on the website. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Search Console. I'm going to go to the property that I want to optimize, which is here. I'm going to find the page that I'm looking at, which is this one. And I'm going to plug it into page right here, make sure it's the exact URL. Now what I'm going to see for the last 3 months is all the keywords that this page is ranking for. And I'm going to activate average click-through rate, average position. Now, this is going to show me all of the keywords that it's ranking for. So you can see White Hat SEO Techniques 2019, White Hat SEO Techniques. And what I want to do is I want to try to map the keyword that's usually the closest to ranking based on how applicable the page is for that keyword. So this page right here, if I look at it, and it does take a little bit of thought, but it's not really that bad. If I look at it, it says SEO Techniques 2019, White Hat SEO Tips. And then if I look at it right here, White Hat SEO Techniques 2019, it's got 50 clicks, 21% click-through rate, average position 2. So if it's already ranking number 1 and it's, that's as well as it's going to do, then I probably want to go for something with probably a little bit more search. This one you can see has 12,000 impressions, 0% click-through rate, really kind of a higher average position. White Hat SEO Techniques, average position 12, 2,000. So that looks a little bit more doable. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to plug it into Ahrefs because I want to see how difficult this actually is. Go to Keyword Explorer, plug it in. So it's about 46 keyword difficulty. And the way I usually gauge this is based on where the page is currently ranking and the domain. So the domain right now for my own website is like DR or DA like 30. And then the page probably authority for this is probably like, 20. So, that might be a little bit too difficult, but it's something that I could probably shoot for. And, it's definitely going to be better than just stagnating at this one search phrase here. So I would take the keyword, plug it in. There it is. Boom. White Hat SEO Techniques. I'd figure out the data for that. So clicks, impressions, click-through rate, average position. Plug that all in here. So you can see it has 7 clicks, 2,500 impressions, click-through rate 0.3%, average position 12, keyword difficulties 46. The search volume is 100 per month apparently. And then I'd also want to see if this page has any duplicate content on it, because I want it to all be original content. So what I would do for that is I would plug it into a site called SiteLiner, and I would see if this page is matching any other page. Now you want your duplicate content to usually be below 10% or 5%. You don't want to have usually more than 5% duplicate content on your website. You can see here, this page has a 2% match at its highest, 3% match at its highest of duplicate content, so it's not too bad. So it's pretty good. 3%'s fine. The response time, we want to make sure the page loads fast. So we plug it into something like GT metrics. Want to make sure it's below a 2.5 second load time, or above, I mean, faster than a 2.5 second load time. And what you can do is obviously assign conditional formatting in here based on the averages you want to hit. I need to reassign them in the template, I believe. This would be if you optimize the page based on the things that you're seeing here. This would be who optimized the page. These other things I took out, like internal link count, that kind of stuff. And then all the other things in here as well, like for instance, if the meta description is too short, if the word count's really small, if the bounce rate's really high, if the conversion rate's really low, there's all certain things that you want to do for that stuff. And then also, this is where you'd put your benchmarker scans as well. You'd put the scan file after doing the scan. You'd figure out if it's at a deficit in terms of the average, in terms of the word counts, so on and so on. And then one other thing I like to look at as well is if it's matching a similar layout. So I like to have some sort of, like, if I like to add a note in here, I'll just add a note and say, by the way, the post that you're trying to rank for, all of these have comparison tables, or they have, whatever, something in their post that you don't have, like, let's say related terms or images. So I like to look at the layouts of posts that are ranking as well. But there are things that you do need to know. One thing is that for some of these keywords, there's really no way you can rank without links. And for instance, like white hat SEO techniques, a lot of me trying to rank for this would probably be me getting links to this page. And I will be talking about phase 4, which is another phase that I'm adding to the certification, which is actually going to be not even specifically link building, but actually authority building in general, and building out your brand and your social media and referral traffic, which also happens to result in links. But my previous strategy for this is that I would never build links. I would only build content, and if the content wouldn't rank, then I would just build out other related content until those posts naturally got links, and then I eventually built links to this type of content here. Now, I have a different way of doing this now with the new outreach I'm doing, which I have a lot of exciting news about here, which I will be talking to you guys about in a little bit later once it's finalized. But for the moment, just know that if you hit all of these averages, like you get all the content on there, the response time's low, duplicate content's low, click-through rate's high, that kind of stuff, then really you're going to be focusing more on building authority to these pages, and then also building out related content, which has to do with phase 3 and keyword clustering, that kind of thing. So yeah, you would do the same thing to these other pages, figure out where the vulnerabilities are. If there's really low click-through rates, obviously you're going to want to go change the titles and the meta descriptions. If there's really high bounce rates, you're going to want to try to change the web design. If there's really low conversion rates, you're going to want to try to change the call to actions. It's all pretty self-explanatory. Do we have any questions from the phase 2 side of things so far? Anybody?
No, not questions. I just need to practice it, I think.
Yeah, that's reasonable. It's a reasonable answer. Fabulous said, I need to review this. Okay.
Yeah, I have to just apply it as well.
Okay, you guys kind of get how I'm mapping the keywords and everything, right? And like why we're doing this for the top URLs on the website, just to find the vulnerabilities and where most of the traffic's going.
Yes, makes sense.
Cool. And again, there's a higher, more explained part of this in the phase 2 section where I explain this to Evo, but this is, again, just a quick run through. I show you guys how to set all this stuff up. And if you guys still don't get it, make sure you let me know in the certification in Discord so that I can try to update the tutorial to make it better explained. But yeah, these are the top 20 pages or the top, where the most traffic's going. If it's a larger website, if you're working with a national website, you're probably going to want to do more than that. It just really depends on, how much traffic they're getting. But for the most part, you're just looking at the averages and seeing if you're hitting those in terms of the content, in terms of the images, in terms of the layouts, that kind of thing. In terms of the keyword difficulty, sort of matching where the page is currently at. And if the keyword difficulty is too difficult and you're going for something that's, that could be a lot easier, like let's say white hat SEO techniques, you could go for white hat SEO techniques 2019. That's keyword difficulty like 10. Nobody's competing for that. And you could bring in some traffic instead of spending time, spending time on that instead of just waiting for like the next year to rank for something a lot more difficult. Then you'd want to map that keyword to the URL and try to go for that. Try to optimize around that, change the title, change the content to better suit that thing that hits on 2019, which is the easier keyword than something that's more general as you move into more difficult things like, for instance, me then going to white hat SEO in general, or just white hat, something that's ridiculous. Okay, so that's phase 2 in a nutshell. Phase 3 really is going to be figuring out what pages you want to build out around your website based on what you want to be an authority in. So after you kind of optimize these pages on your website and you're happy with the conversion rates, you're happy with the bounce rates, you're happy with the, the amount of clicks you're getting for the keywords you're going for, you're not going for things that are too difficult, you don't have an insane amount of duplicate content on the website, click-through rates are decent, this doesn't look really bad overall, and you kind of know what's on your website, you know what you have, and you know what you want to, you kind of want to know what you want to go for next. Now, again, phase 3 is going to happen either two ways. You're either going to be going from phase 1 to phase 3 if you have no pages, right? Phase 1, site-wide issues, to phase 3 if you have no pages or no data around your pages, meaning there's no analytics, there's nothing you can really benchmark. Or if you're going from phase 1 to then phase 2, then to phase 3, and then you need to build out future pages to continue building your authority and also building out your traffic because you've already done pretty much all the optimizations you can do based on the data you have here. So if that's the case and you're at phase 3, either way, you're going to have to what? Build out new pages, right? That's just pretty much where we're at. At a certain point, you can't do much else. You got to either build out new pages or you got to stop doing SEO and switch to something else. So we want to be able to charge our clients reoccurring services, which is why we're doing phase 3 and phase 4. That's where most of the reoccurring stuff happens. Once you do the individual URLs optimize, and then you also do the site-wide issues optimize phase 1, there isn't really much else you can do just sitting there, right? You can't you can't really further optimize something if there's nothing else to really optimize. So you want to look at phase 3 and 4 as where you're going to be making your reoccurring money. However, within phase 1 and 2, you can still make a fair amount of money selling one-time services, right? I mean, if that's what you guys want to do, if you want to just sell the audit, do all implementations, then optimize individual URLs for $2,500, never talk to the client again, that's great too. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But 3 and 4 is where you make your reoccurring. So let's talk about 3. So 3, what you're going to do is you're going to first of all figure out what you want to rank for as an identity, what niche you want to go for. Now, generally you want to pick out topics first, not keywords, right? It's one thing to rank for a keyword. It's another thing to rank for a topic. And what I mean by that is if you're ranking for a keyword, it's a lot easier for somebody else to just be like, who's an authority with that keyword, who already is ranking for a bunch of topics around that, to go take that keyword from you because they already have a bunch of authority. However, if you are the guy who does only SEO audits and that's all you want to sell, then it's a lot easier to spend all your time trying to rank for all the things around SEO audits, SEO audit for dummies, local SEO audit templates, so on and so on, because what you're going to do is you're going to end up getting a name for that. It's going to be easier to build links. It's going to be easier to build referral traffic. It's going to be everything. Everything's going to be easier because you're niching down. That's just in general. So what you do is you just grab all these keywords, right? The ones that you think are applicable to your niche, and you start putting them into something like Keyword Explorer. I like to use Scrapebox. If you guys don't have Scrapebox, then don't listen to this. But Scrapebox is a tool that I will be showing you guys how to use in phase 4. And what Scrapebox does really well is it helps you get a lot of data really quickly. And one of the ways is that it'll let you scrape keywords. So if I need keyword ideas really quickly, what I do is I just go into here, plug all the keywords in, and then I go press scrape, plug them in, and it'll start giving me all these keywords that are getting pulled off of Google and Yahoo and wherever else. Here they are. I just already got, looks like 48 keywords in about 2 seconds. And then I do it again, probably get a couple hundred. I'll just press stop, so I got it. So I got 247 in 2 seconds. Now, if I go back over to Ahrefs or whatever tool I use, if you're going for the Costco route and you can't afford Ahrefs and you want to just use something like SEMrush, I won't judge you. I mean, I will a little bit, but everybody has to start somewhere. So what you could do is you could plug in these keywords into whatever tool you're using, and it'll start showing you all these different keywords. One of the best ways to do this is to look for having same search terms or phrase match, and look for keywords that are within your sort of range. So if we look at keyword difficulty and we look at, the different metrics, let's say we want to go for anything with SEO audit in here. That's a little bit too brief. Let's just do audit maybe. Here we go. So here's a bunch of different things we could go for around audits. Now, again, these aren't really within what we want to go for because, they're like no search volume. But the point is that you can filter this stuff until you find, the keywords that are meant for you, really just based on where your current authority is at, DA, PA. And then you can start adding these to a list. Now, this is one way to do it. My favorite way to do it really is to do it based on the amount of links that I'm willing to build to a website. And for the most part, I'm not usually willing to build that many links to a website. So what I'll do is I'll go to Content Explorer. I'll take whatever keyword I want to go for, like SEO Audit for Dummies. And this will show me all of the websites that are too broad, or too specific. Let me go to something more broad. SEO Audit. And this will show me 20,000 pages that are going for those keywords. And so I could go and see if these websites that are ranking have only like 0 to 2 links to that page, or if their traffic is above, let's say, where the heck is it? Organic traffic is above 200 visits a month. So now I have 40 pages that only have 0 to 2 referring domains with organic traffic from 200 and up. Now here we go. I can see, look at this. I'm going to be competing with some high DR websites. I probably want to go for lower DRs, like let's say this one, because that's within whatever my range is. So DR 36, only one referring domain. They got 565 visits to the page. If I press details, it'll show me all of the organic keywords that the page is ranking for. So look at this. Best SEO tools, keyword difficulty 34, and they're getting 137 traffic to that. And that looks pretty doable. So then again, what I would do is I would try to find pages that I think are easy for me to do based on where my current stats are and based on what I'm trying to build to my website, socially or domain wise as well. Now that's one way to build out your architecture. The other way to build out your architecture is to find relevant people in your niche. Like, let's say I wanted to go for ranking. Let's say I wanted to rank for SEO Audit Template, right? Now, if I wanted to rank for that and I see the top people ranking for that are right here. Let's say this guy. If I plug him into Ahrefs, what I can do is I can go look at his top pages. So these are where he's getting most of his traffic. And I can start getting ideas on what are the different pages here that he's using to rank, not just for the purpose of ranking, but also the purpose of conversions. Because a lot of these people will have pages on here as well, like SEO consultant, how to fire a client. These are all things that would be also applicable to what my audience would want to see or what people would want to see on my website. And if I keep going through and seeing the competing domains where these people are getting their traffic because they have overlap on the keywords that they're ranking for, I'm probably going to see similar pages ranking on their website. And if that's true, all I really have to do is kind of copy their similar architecture and build it into mine. Pretty easy. Now, again, the way I build out my websites, I take the keyword, I put the URL that's ranking, I put the keyword that I want to go for, so like SEO interview questions. I note the volume of the keyword. I note the keyword difficulty, the CPC value, you know, if there's any commercial value to it, the traffic that the page is getting, the position that the person's in, or that I'm in. I think that's the one that they're in. Yeah. If I publish the article yet on my own website, if the article needs images, and so on and so on. So I'm still kind of finishing this phase 3 template. This is the updated one, but this is sort of how I'm laying it out so that I can keep track of the pages I want to put on the website, and then if they need images, if they need more content, so on and so on. And then whether or not they need to be optimized. So yeah, phase 3 should be pretty straightforward. Keyword research isn't extremely hard to do. You just want to go within the current metrics of your own website, if that makes sense. Do we have any questions on that? You guys? Anybody?
Need to dive in.
Do you guys
Hear
get?
me? Oh,
Yeah, I can hear you. Do you guys get phase 3 so like a little bit so far?
yeah, yeah. I'm not at phase 3 level yet, but I will be hopefully soon. So
Okay.
probably need to rewatch this. I hope you post it.
Oh yeah, I'll post it. But I mean, I'm just like, what is some of the disconnects so far? Is it just information overload or what?
No, there's no disconnect. The way I learn is by applying and then seeing what's working for me, what's not working. I had some issues with the uh, keyword research with one of my clients just because I wasn't sure if they didn't have a lot of competitors, and so kind of feel like I wasn't sure what I was doing. I was just guessing at it. Maybe that's something we could talk about offline.
Okay, that works. Cool. So yeah, phase 4 really, I mean, we covered most of this. Phase 1, 2, 3. Again, you know, I want to make it more detailed for those of you who aren't getting it in the certification. Make it like more individual videos if you guys aren't getting it. But phase 4 is really just going to be going and doing this other stuff in here that I'm making templates for, which is doing outreach, building your network, and then selling ongoing services. But since it's not completely finished yet, we're going to cover that in another video. And this one has been pretty long as it is, so I'm going to kind of end it here, and I'm going to stop the recording. So unless anybody else wants to say anything before I stop the recording. All right.